In this video, we'll do another build from How to Make Wargames Terrain, the classic tome from the 90s. I'm going to be making hedges. This is actually a very simple one, not many materials needed, so we'll quickly run through that. You'll need to make a base for all of your hedges. This is fiberboard with coconut fiber glued down with super glue. There is a little tutorial I've done on this. I use this method because it's a very thin material and it will warp easily. If you use PVA, because it's water-based, it's going to soak in and peel up. You don't want that. Super glue does eliminate that problem. You can also use plaster or other sort of stone effect for that. I've cut them 1 inch wide, 6 inches long. You're going to need to pick up pan scourers. This is a very large roll of it. It's 6 inches across and, well, quite long, but that matches our bases. It's a very simple material. You can get it in basically any decent superstore in the UK. It has industrial uses and kitchen uses. So you can actually get a brown version of this, which might be useful if you don't fancy painting it. But yeah, any pan scourer material will do. I'm going to be using flock in this old coffee tin. Very simple to make, but is also very cheap to buy. So either option is good. And you're going to need a couple of sundries, knives, PVA glue, scissors, that sort of thing. You're also going to want to pick up a hot glue gun. So you can take your pan scourer material, and I recommend getting 2 bases, put them in a line like so, and then cutting that section off. You're going to want to repeat that for every 1 base you have. Take your pan scourer sections, they should be about 2 inches thick, fold them in half, just try and get a bit of a seam going. Once you do, pick up the hot glue gun, put a bead down, moving in a wavy sort of pattern. Just make sure you seal up those ends or they will pop open. And before it dries, press firmly down, push that hot glue into the fabric, and in a few seconds I've been doing this, it's glued perfectly together. Right, you're going to want to do that on all of your hedge sections before moving on to the next bit. With the pan scourer folded in half and glued, it's ready to attach to its base. Again, just going to get the hot glue out. A fairly thick bead will do this. And then push it down roughly halfway into the base. Again, we're going to force the hot glue into the fibres to get a good bond all the way through. And it's pretty much dries instantly. I keep saying drying, I mean cooling. Right, and your hedges are ready to go at this stage, but we will tie them up with a bit of flock and a few other little bits and bobs. All right, do that on all of your hedges now. We're going to take our hedges a step further now. We're going to use some PVA glue and all of the exposed pan scourer we're going to cover. Okay, we don't want to soak it in, that's just a waste of material. This will be enough. Make sure you get the tops. I say dry brushing, it's more over brushing, which is exactly the same thing, you just don't try and get any excess off the brush. So once it's sort of there, make sure you've covered all that green pan scourer. Right. Make sure you've got something to collect all the flock in. We're going to liberally cover the hedge now in your flock of choice. There's no requirement to let it soak in or anything, so as soon as you've poured it on, you can tap off the excess, and that's pretty much a finished product. You might see a little bit of white showing through, that will dry clear. So here's an example, if you miss some of the green, it won't quite look right, that's quite jarring appearance. We haven't done the edges. So do make sure you cover all of the pan scourer of PVA glue. PVA glue is dried. You can see it's thoroughly covered with dark green and scouring pad. I've added a few grass tufts and some flower bits just to give a bit of variety, make it a bit more interesting. And because I've used the super glue method, it doesn't rock backwards and forwards. It's nice and flat on the base and it won't be curled up. Well, hope that's of some use, and I'll see you on the next one.